Hello, long time no see, or so it seems. And I wasn't going to do a video on the Leeds riots or the Whitechapel riot because it's been overdone and there's loads of news stories. But people have asked me my opinion, and yesterday I was absolutely gobsmacked that not Muslims was trending on Twitter. There were people, presumably far left, presumably cultural Marxists, and some idiots, to be fair, who were justifying the riot by saying, oh, it's Christian Romany gypsies that are rioting. It's not the Muslims. Now, I don't care who was rioting. I would love a country where everyone integrates, whether you're British white, British black, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, where everyone lived together. That's the ultimate goal. That's what would be best. But you've got to have a common goal for that to happen. You've got to want to live under British laws or the laws of the country that you live in, and you've got to agree with the country's ethos, which is free speech and democracy, basically, isn't it? You can wear what you want, you can go where you want, you can say what you want. That's really, people say, oh, what's these British values you keep on about? Well, it's those values that men, women, children have died for over the centuries, and why we celebrate them with the monuments that are getting desecrated in London every weekend by people who don't care, don't respect our values, and want to bring something that's happening on the other side of the world to these shores. Now, that said, I don't agree with the British government or the US government supporting anyone, Israel, Hamas, with weapons because of the said reason. Nothing really to do with us, although since 1948 it has been. All those thousands of years before, going right back to Judea when Palestine was a Jewish country, and then the Philistines came and renamed it Palestine. All those years, that's down to them. That's down to them. And I believe that in those times, because Islam was founded 700 years after Christianity, and was it 2,000 years after Judaism, wasn't it? That was a mishmash then. Obviously, there were Muslims and Christians and Jews living together because the other religions came after Judaism. So yeah, but yesterday you had these people. Oh, it's not Muslims. Well, now there were a lot of Muslims involved in that. I think the beards on some of the men and some of the clothing on the men and the women, I think that sort of gave it away a little bit. But the point was not whether it was Muslims or Christians or whatever. It was the fact that there was just such a load of disrespect and hatred on show. And a couple of weeks before, I'd been to Hackney and I'd spoken to some second generation migrants, lovely, lovely people who had participated in the community. In fact, they run the community around Hoxton. And some of them have been on housing waiting lists for 16 years. Not good enough. I could sort of understand them being agitated. But these people up in Leeds, apparently, it started when allegedly a baby fell out of a ground floor window. How much of this is true, I don't know. I'm gleaming it from social media. The father took him to hospital. For some reason, I don't know, the hospital thought it was suspicious. They told social services. Social services attended their house in Leeds and took 5 children away. I don't know if it was heavy-handed. I don't know if it was justified. But let's just say it was out of order and heavy-handed. You could understand friends and neighbours surrounding that house and not letting the children leave, for instance. I think you could totally understand that. What you can't understand is a mob of 2,000 people of all different religions, I'd suggest, but apart from a very small percentage of, shall we say, indigenous people, which I did see, don't know if they're British or if they're European or what. But apart from a very small percentage, that was mainly migrants to this country wrecking the joint. That idiot setting fire to... No, there's two idiots actually. There's three idiots setting fire to the bus. Need 10 years sentences straight away. No early release. 10 years. Indirectly, you've paid for that bus. I've paid for that bus. And if they've ever used a bus, or if the bus company is supported by grants from the government, they've probably paid for that bus. Setting buses afire, turning police cars over, throwing rocks at police. Now, I've not been I'm an ex-police officer, but I've not been a great supporter of the way the police have handled situations. And we saw it again in Leeds, didn't we? Police running from these idiots. I think it's come to the point now where, because of the mindset of the police, and probably because of the mindset of some of the people that they've recruited, it's not like the good old days. It's time we brought the army in. People who respect these people throwing rocks as much as the people throwing rocks respect them. People that are fire back with rubber bullets. That's what you need in situations like that. Police aren't equipped. I've been in a riot. I was in, I've been in a couple actually, but the one that stands out was Millwall Luton. Up in Luton, I think it might have been, I think it was 84. Scared to death. Actually got put on the floor and was getting a kick in when a WPC jumped on top of me. Liz Green, bless her. She's no longer with us, sadly, because of cancer, but lovely, lovely lady, but brave as hell. Jumped on top of me, and then I heard people, Millwall supporters, saying, "Oh, not kicking a woman." Probably saved me life, or if they didn't save me life, saved me from a severe, severe beating. I was literally surrounded. And that night, those people were feral. And when you look at those scenes in Leeds, they're feral. Those kids, I'd identify the kids. They'd be going to ball store, but mum and dad would be going to educational sessions whereby they had to learn parenting. Because if their kids are out there throwing rocks at the police, it's either terrible parenting from parents that hate the police, maybe this country, everything we stand for, or it's terrible parenting because they don't care enough to know where their little brats are. It's time we faced up to the problems we've got. A load of feral people with the justification of a social services visit taking children away from one family. It don't add up, does it? So there we go. There are all sorts of thugs out there, including white and black British, presumably. If you've got eyes in your head, 95% of that were migrants to this country. And as I say, people ask me my opinion, you need to bring the army in. Now, I don't like that, and do you know why I don't like that? Because I think these things are being left. The two-tier policing, the allowing undocumented illegal migrants, men of fighting age predominantly, to come into the country seemingly unhindered. If you wanted to break those gangs, you'd just keep turning them around. In the end, they'd get fed up of trying to make it from France. The gangs wouldn't be getting paid, and I think they'd disperse from France. Probably go back to where they come from, most of them, and those odd, and it apparently is odd, we're talking about 10% of these people who are actually coming from war zones that British and American foreign policy has probably caused, admittedly. Those genuine people, then we need to find space for them. But the best way to do that is get rid of all those that have got no right to be in this country whatsoever. And if you've got no documentation, down the road. Now, I think this is being done because they want civil war. They want indigenous first generation migrants, maybe second generation migrants in some communities, to go up in arms about the way certain communities are treated. I think it's been orchestrated so that we do have civil war, or we have severe civil unrest, and then they can bring in their 15-minute cities, they can bring in their digital ID. Oh, we're only doing it for your safety. And as we've seen with COVID, the majority out there who can't think for themselves, but can only take everything they see on television or read in a newspaper as gospel truth, they'll be behind it. Oh, well, it's for our safety. The government only want to look after us. It's control and greed, but you can't tell the masses that. The last general election showed you that. When we voted Starmer in again, just a button change. So that's why I think it's being done. So I really hope people don't bite to it. What is the solution? I'll be honest, I don't know. But I think if you get civil unrest like this, you do need to bring the army in. The police aren't trained, they're not equipped, there's not enough of them, and they seem to be recruiting this sort of pre-indoctrinated university type who hasn't got any balls. And as for Whitechapel, was it, where Bangladeshi Muslims rioted, again, police attacked, fighting between themselves in their own community. That was because some guy in Bangladesh got shot. You can understand people being really, really fed up with migrants bringing their troubles, their religious problems, arguments to these shores. I think we've got enough here already. Enough problems. We've got governments that don't care. We've got governments that are screwing us. We've got the highest taxation rate for years. We've got the highest house prices. Young kids can't buy a house. I'm talking of any colour, creed or religion. Food prices going through the roof. Energy prices going through the roof, which is going to get worse with this stupid net zero agenda that people are buying into because the television tells them it's the right thing to do. They'll be out clapping the sun not coming out on a Thursday night soon. You wait and see. It's just madness. But I hope these sparks don't give these idiots at the top, these greed-fueled psychopaths, what they want. But the actual answer, I don't know. Okay, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts as why I do these, and I shall speak to you soon. Oh, please like the video as well. Thanks a lot.
خلص يا حسين بعد ما اقدر راح اقدر فنادى عليك من السلام ابا عبد الله فاتاه الحسين باي حلوه فرآه مقطوع اليمين واليسار مرتدا